Hey guys, welcome to 6 p.m. Kickboxing. My name's Alexa if you haven't been here before, and if you have, then welcome back. Let's get right into our warm-up. We're going to start feet about shoulder width apart, that nice soft knee. We're tucking our hips so that our lower back is nice and neutral and not curved. And let's start rolling our shoulders back. Thinking about bringing them up to our ears and then dropping them all the way back down so that our shoulder blades are tucked into our back pockets. Here's a really good time to start thinking about that rhythmic breathing. In through the nose, down to the diaphragm, out through the mouth. You can roll forward a couple times if you like as well. I personally don't like to do that. I really like to drive home that down and back shoulder feeling and a nice open chest. Let's do some arm circles back. Letting this movement come from your shoulders and not from your elbows. We can do big circles or little circles. I like to start with bigger circles just to get my shoulders warmed up. We're just going for that nice engaged muscle feeling. Let's roll forward a couple times on this one. Still trying to keep those shoulders kind of down and back. All right, let's do some chest openers. So staying square this whole time. You should feel your abs engaged. You should feel your glutes engaged, quads, all the way down to your feet. You should feel all four corners of your feet pressed into the ground. All of our punches, all of our kicks, all of our strikes come from that power up through the ground, up through our heel. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's do helicopters. Thinking about that pivoting. So if you can see, I'm turning my heel out, but I'm keeping it nice and low to the ground. We never want to bring our heel up, otherwise all of our weight is on one leg, and it's easier to fall over or be pushed or pulled over. Something that will help with this too is to keep that knee nice and soft. Let's go into some knees. You can do elbow to knee or palm to knee. It's up to you as long as you're not crunching into it. That's not really what we're going for here. We're not going for an ab workout. We're just warming up our hip flexors, side glute. All right, and let's do some chambering up through the center, opening up to the outside. If you can, try not to touch down this time. So we're working on balance today. So 5 to the outside, 5 to the inside. Things that will help you stay upright during this rather than like wobbling around is gonna be, again, those four corners of your feet rooted into the ground, and a nice soft knee in that standing leg. It can also be helpful to hold your guard up and keep your core engaged. If you feel yourself coming off balance, just kind of ground yourself, get a nice soft bend in that knee, and come right back to it. Breathing, breathing always. It's hard to balance when you're not breathing, and it's hard to live when you're not breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Touching down if you need to. Let's take about 30 seconds. Stretch out anything else tight or sore to you. If you don't have anything tight or sore, you can kind of start to jog in place if you like. You can do calf raises if you can't really jog on your floor, if you have neighbors who would just hate that. About 10 more seconds. If you're already done, let's go into these calf raises, trying to keep that inside of our foot kind of pressed into the ground, our big toe pressed into the ground. We don't want to be out here on the edges of our feet. Get our calves warmed up. And let's get into some footwork. So nice strong stance, left leg forward, right leg back. If you don't have a lot of room for this, you can make these really tiny movements. We're gonna do some shuffling back and forth. So again, bringing the foot in and bringing the front foot out. Front foot comes to meet our back foot steps out into a nice strong stance. That's our shuffle. You can switch 3 times or just do your shuffle and just switch your feet. Shuffling in, shuffling out, switch, or switch 3 times if you want that challenge. Getting our feet and ankles all warmed up. Working on that balance from the ground up. Switching 3 times if you can do that wherever you're living. Trying to keep a nice level head here. Our knees are soft. We don't straighten up out of that shuffle. Give me a tiny shuffle if you don't have a lot of room. Oops, that was a lunge. Just a couple more seconds. Keep that guard up. Remember, it switches with our legs. All right, let's do some lunging now. Lunging for movement. So same thing. We're moving forward, we're moving back. Left leg forward, right leg back. Guard matches. This time, we're not changing our stance. We're pressing off the back foot and sort of lunging forward onto that front foot into a nice strong stance. We're taking our weight off the front or onto the front foot, pushing back, switch. Lunge forward, lunge back, switch 3 times. You can think of this as like taking a tiny step. We lift our front foot off the ground just a tiny bit and push off the back, and vice versa when we're moving back. Again, these can be really tiny lunges. You could do just a little tiny bit of movement, whatever you have room for. Halfway through. Try to land in that nice strong stance every time. You should feel all of your legs. You should feel your glutes here too, your abs. Try to keep that guard up. Presumably you don't have a timer in your hand, so your fist should be nice and tight. Less than 10 seconds. You should also be feeling your calves. 2, 1. All right. Let's do, maybe I'll keep this on me. Some abs. Let's do Superman crunches. We'll do 10, 10, and 10. So heels to the ceiling and reaching towards those heels. 10 of these. Try not to reach with your arms, but your core instead. You could have no arms here and just be reaching with your core. Tabletop crunches. Our knees are above our hips. My feet are flexed. Hands behind our head. 10 of these. Try to keep your elbows away from your knees. We don't want to use our arms. And let's finish off with some crunchy frogs. 10. Try to keep your eyes forward. We don't want to crunch our chin down. All right, and let's roll it over. And we're going to do our little push-up into back exercises. If you want to do push-ups the whole time, that's totally fine. But if you're like me and you have chronic wrist pain, wrist injuries, anything like that, feel free to substitute all of this with a plank or just some of it. So push-ups for about 20 seconds. From your feet or from your knees. Less than 10. And let's go down into some swimmers for our backs. Again, you don't want to crunch your eyes or look up and crunch your neck. So try to look at the floor. Feels a little silly, but it's good for your neck. In 3 seconds, we're doing pullbacks. Starting now, pull into a tight fist, just like our reach and pulls. Elbows come towards the waist. You should feel your abs as well. We don't want to rely entirely on our back. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's grab a super quick drink. We're gonna do some double rising kicks. If you don't have double rising kicks, or they feel really weird for you right now because we're all a little out of practice, I want you to do kick, land back, another kick, land forward. Let's do jab, cross, hook. And then let's shuffle back. So that's kick, land it back, kick, land it forward, jab, cross, hook. If you haven't, make it double rising. And if you want to practice that, practice 1, don't touch down, like I just did. 2, land it forward and your hand strikes. So again, on the other side, that looks like 1, 2, land it forward, jab, cross, hook. So 3 variations here. Kick, land back, kick, land forward, jab, cross, hook, or kick, kick, land, hand strikes. And third, double rising. I'm gonna go ahead and aim for the knee and the groin on both, on my kicks. I'll turn the side for you. So that's kick, kick, jab, cross, hook. Nice tight fist. Kick, kick. You can touch down if you need to, but try to practice, obviously, that balance and not touching down. My balance is a little off lately because we haven't had as much practice. Make sure you're fully extending on those strikes. Or again, make it double rising. To the knee, to the groin is where I'm going. And what I mean by fully extending on those strikes is not to the point that we're letting our elbow lock out, but we want to be striking through our opponent's face, not just hitting it and not pushing it. Hook, hook. Sorry, jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook. Let's do 3 more on each side. Jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook. One more each side. Let's turn this into a front ball kick and then a roundhouse kick. So the way we'll do this is, this time let's do front ball kick, land it forward, roundhouse kick off the front. Or if you want, you can take that pause, pivot and into that roundhouse kick. Or you can make it just double rising, to the knee, to the ribs is where I'm gonna go. Let's change the hands. Sorry, that's roundhouse kick. Let's make it a back fist cross, nice and simple. So 1, 2, back fist cross. Notice that I'm using my turn as momentum into my back fist. So you kind of have to start preparing for it before you land your kick out. Otherwise, that's 1, 2, think about that back fist. So we're unwinding and following up with that cross. Oh, I forgot my own hand strikes. Anybody who comes to my classes knows that happens sometimes. Front ball, roundhouse, back fist cross. Kick, kick, punch, punch. Or you can think of it as linear, around, around, linear. Different ways to think of it, that might help. I'm going to turn to the side for the next few. drop your guard too. Sometimes I catch myself doing that, so it's always good to correct. Something else I like to do is make sure that my hips are tucked every time before I start my combo. And you should feel your glutes on every kick. Your glutes, your whole leg. Let's do 2 more each side. Try to point that guard towards your opponent. 1 more each time. All right, let's do some leg raises. So a nice soft bend in that knee. We're gonna chamber up, extend that kick, and instead of thinking about where we would normally like to kick with our momentum, we're just gonna go as high as we can, as high as our quad will allow us. And we're gonna pulse for 10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. Again, nice soft knee, engaged core, breathing. These are all 3 things that are gonna really help you with this. And pulsing. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's do some lunges. Let's do 10 on each side, just like we did before. I'll turn to the side for you guys so that I can't cheat with the mirror. But if you have a mirror, it's always good to check your form. Try to keep that knee under your hip. So I have to tuck my hips forward to make that happen, at least for my body type. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. And again, try to keep that knee under your hip, under your shoulder, under your ear. You should be pressing from this heel. So we don't want to lean forward. We don't want to lean back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And on those, you should actually be able to pull your toe back on your front leg, so you're really, really feeling it in your heels. Let's take that combination. We're going to do just like a little bit more with it. We're just going to make it a fun chain kicking thing. We're going to do a knee, a front kick, roundhouse kick. Land it forward, back fist cross. Knee, front kick, roundhouse kick, back fist cross. If you need to touch down in between, do so. Always better to touch down and have a strong kick rather than to be wobbling around and then come around for your kick. So it really takes that pivot on the last one to get that roundhouse kick up in the air. Those lunges should help us with our side-to-side stability because they're really good for your gluteus medius and minimus, which support side-to-side stability. Let's do 2 more on each side. And I'll go to the side for this. Knee, front kick, roundhouse kick, back fist cross. Knee, front kick, roundhouse kick, back fist cross. 1 more time each side. Knee, front kick, roundhouse kick, back fist cross. Knee, front kick, roundhouse kick, back fist cross. All right, let's grab a quick drink. And let's do some back kicking. If you haven't back kicked before, we'll do like 10 squat back kicks. So our normal squat, make sure that your knees are not coming over your toes. Your weight should be on your heels. Again, you should be able to pick up your toes. So if I'm here, I should be able to pick up my toes. So squat, we're gonna chamber up just like we do for our front kick and stomp back with the heel. Notice I turn just my eyes to look over my shoulder. 5 on each side, that's 10 altogether. Don't forget your rechamber. Rechamber and down. And down. Always look behind you when you're kicking behind you so that you don't kick a wall or a chair or your dog or your mom, you know. One more. Squeezing at the top of that movement. All right, let's make this into a combination. Get my little timer back on here so I can see how much time we have left. Let's start out with some elbows. Let's do roundhouse elbow to the jaw. 1, 2. Then we'll do a driving elbow. So we're coming across the chest in an X shape and pushing forward through our hip and our nice sharp part of our arm. So round, driving, and we're all set up for this back kick off the front. Kick, land it back, let's do a back elbow. And now we're reset. Shuffle, maybe take a lunge forward actually. All right, round, driving, chamber up, kick, land it back, back elbow. We're sinking into it, we're hitting with this blunt part right to the gut. And a little movement forward. Round, driving, kick, land it back, move it forward. Shuffling or lunging. Round, driving, kick, land, elbow. We'll do a couple from the side before we move on. I'm coming around, just like with my hook, I'm using a lot of hips, I'm turning my whole body. Driving forward, kick off the front, land it back, back elbow. Round, driving, kick, back elbow. Really pull those toes back. We're stomping with the heel to the foot, the knee, the groin. Round, driving, land it back. Let's do 2 more on each side. Round, rising, using our hips, squeezing at the top of that kick. So we get the full extension. Round, driving, kick, and an elbow. Hopefully they don't need the elbow though. Hopefully we've kicked them hard enough that the elbow is just overkill at this point. One more. All right, let's do, take this, this combination and do just a little tiny bit more with it. So this time, let's do our elbows. We'll do our back kick, and instead of landing it back, we're gonna bring it back forward, and then let's just finish off with a rising elbow and a rising elbow. And then we'll just switch every time. So round, driving, kick. Let's bring it up into a knee. Kick, up into a knee, and rising. And a little shuffle back if you need to adjust. Round, driving. Oh wait, did I start on the wrong side? Round, driving, yep, kick off the front, a knee, land it forward, switch. Kick, knee, land it forward, and rising. We got a lot in this one, but you can always take it in pieces or just take components of it. And rising. Let's do 2 more. Round, driving, back kick, knee to the front, and a rising. Switch. Round. Touchdown if you need to. Before throwing that knee, we want that knee to be nice and strong. Round. Switch. One more time each side. Exhaling with every strike. One more time. Oh, not a back. Not a back elbow. We moved on from that. All right. And let's finish off with a quick little ab series. I'll call out what to do. All you need to do is what I'm doing, and then breathe in for 2 counts, out for 2 counts. Starting in a tabletop, crunching your shoulder blades up for a challenge, or keeping your head on the ground if you want it, just normal style. 1 leg out, 1 leg out. We're breathing in for 2, breathe in, out, out. Flex those feet. This is gonna help engage your lower abs and your hip flexors. Halfway through this one. On the next one, we're gonna be doing little pulses at the bottom. And you'll see what I mean in a second. Breathing in for 2, out for 2. 1 leg up, pulse at the bottom. 1 leg up, pulse at the bottom. Try to look up and not crunching forward to look at your legs. Something I have to remind myself of as well. Halfway through this one. On this next one, we're gonna have our feet in a V shape, right above our hips, and then down to a 45. If you need to take a break, take a little quick breather, breathe in for 3 seconds, out for 3 seconds, and jump back in when you're ready. Up in a V above the hips. Try not to come over your hips. We don't want to be using our momentum here. Stop at 45, stop above the hips. When you stop there, that's gonna increase your time under tension, and it's gonna make this a little bit more challenging. Almost done, 10 seconds on this one. We'll go into crunchy frogs next. Starting now. If you need a little break here, hands down, just do the leg part. You can clap over your knees, or if you want to challenge, clap under your knees. Halfway through. Sometimes I cheat a little bit and take a little longer up here so that it's not as hard. Less than 10. Trying to look up at the ceiling. 2, 1, and bicycles to finish. This is our burnout, this is our superset. Try to go for the full 30 seconds if you can. If you need a break, you can hold it, hold it, hold it. Halfway through. 5 seconds. Woo, full body stretch. And now our balance should be great because our core is nice and strong. All right, and let's come up and do some huggers or chest openers, whatever you want to call them. I like to stay nice and tall when I'm trying to catch my breath, so our lungs have plenty of room to expand. In through the nose, out through the mouth.
We have Leah watching. Leah.
Hi, Leah. My cameraman is telling me who's watching, so hey guys. All right, let's inhale up, exhale over. Do just a little bit of this. Or at least he only told me one person who's watching. So if you're also watching.
No, it's the only one I have as a friend as well. That's a friend.
Oh, okay.
It only shows me the friend.
As far as I'm aware, only Leah's watching. Hello, Leah. You're in your house like, this is weird. One more time on the other side. It feels a little more like old times though, when I can at least know who's watching and imagine you guys enjoying the workout at home. Let's come down and do a nice stretch for those hip flexors. So stepping forward as much as you need to, really, as much as you can without collapsing your lower back. That's just basically what we don't want to happen. I like to lean on my standing leg and then try to think about tucking those hips against the floor, pushing your knee away. And that should really open up this part, this hip flexor here, a little bit in the quad. This is a good way to stretch for practicing to do the splits, if that's a goal of yours. Actually, before we do that, let's bring one elbow down. If you can't come down all the way, just come down as much as you can. And this should really deepen the stretch. Try to keep that knee nice and close to your body. We don't want to splay out like this. And real quick, adjusting if you need to, we're gonna turn our arm out. Still breathing in for 2, out for 2, or breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's come up and lean back. So rocking our hips back on this one. You don't have to worry too much about your back being super straight. It's kind of hard to keep it straight in this. But basically we're hinging at the hips. Pulling those toes back if you really want to feel that stretch behind the knee, or at least that's where I feel it most deeply. And let's do one more thing here on this side. We're going to turn towards that leg now. And you should feel this up through a weird part through the side of your leg. That's your TFL. It is generally forgotten when stretching. So it should feel weird. If it doesn't feel weird, you're probably not hitting it. You might have to play around a little bit with the positioning. One more time the other side, and then we'll jump up and finish off. So really trying to get that stretch from like the hip bone down to your knee. That's your hip flexor, right in that crease there. And our bottommost abs. Just a little bit. Bringing that elbow down if you can, and trying to keep that knee close to your shoulder or whatever part of your body is down here, depending on your proportions. Adjusting is needed. And let's come up, reach towards the ceiling, turning away from our standing leg. Returning, let's hinge those hips back. You really want to feel that hip hinge here and pull those toes back to really deepen that stretch. This is something I've been trying to do every day because this is good for those tight hamstrings and tight glutes that we get from sitting a lot, which I imagine a lot of us are doing right now. And to finish off here, we're gonna come upright a little bit and turn towards that leg. If you can, touch the floor here. Oh, it feels so weird. But coming up right through the side, a little bit in the back, that's where you should feel it. All right, let's finish off with one big deep breath. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Shaking out our shoulders, shaking out our arms. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I turn to the side so you can hear me. Shaking that out, shaking our head no in a nice big movement when you're ready. Nodding our head yes, nice big movement. We're going to tuck our tail, breathing in and in, coming up one vertebrae at a time. Reaching for that full body stretch, filling your lungs. Awesome work today, you guys. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, let me know in the comments. Let me know how these are working for you, if you're doing these workouts, if it fits your space perfectly, or if you have room for a little more. We want to tailor these workouts to you guys. So let us know in the comments. See you guys on Monday at 6 p.m.